Good morning, everyone. It's Doug from Vermont Hoyas, and welcome to a little bit more talk about water rooting. Now, I've been doing it for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, and I've made some more observations, and we'll just talk about that and see how it goes. Since I made that first video, I have water rooted a number of Hoyas. Every single one of them successful. I'm still really annoyed that I didn't know about this and try this years ago, because it could have saved me a lot of anguish. A lot of plants that you can really save them by taking a cutting that a plant that's doing poorly and just throw it into a glass of water. So you're also not obligated to get it all potted up if you're not ready, and try to put it into a box and try to get it rooted that way. So it's a real time saver, and it can really save some of these plants that mean so much to us. Let's take a look at some other strange observations. This is Hoya ruthiae. Now, this is a weird one because you can see the roots on that. I waited 4 years to get my first flowers on this plant, growing it in soil. I sold some cuttings recently, and I took this one that was left over, just 2 leaves, threw it into a glass of water, and lo and behold, it produced a panicle and kind of a miserable looking little flower, but it is trying to open. So I mean, that's quite remarkable. 4 years waiting in soil to get my flowers, and I get it in a few weeks in water. Here's another one, Hoya blazernacea subspecies ciari. Just a single leaf. I had it left over. Rather than throw it out, I just threw it in a glass of water, and it has produced a panicle. I don't know how well that comes out, but it has produced a panicle. I'm not going to wait for that to bud up or anything. I'll stick it in a little pot and we'll see what happens, but it's fascinating. This is another plant. I can't pronounce it really. It's a close relative of Hoya carnosa, but begins with a V. But anyway, I only threw this in like 3 days ago, and it's already starting to produce roots. Over here you have Hoya wallachii, which has always grown absolutely miserably for me. It flowers all the time, but it has terrible looking leaves, so I finally decided to start it over. I took some of the best cuttings that I could find that weren't all yellowed up, and you can see the roots that are started on that. So I can get that plant going again, so that's great. Over here you have Hoya soidoensis, and it's a kind of a difficult plant to get going and growing well, and I decided to start this one over, and I put it in a jar of water, and that's all producing roots. This one here, Hoya SR 2007-13, threw that in maybe a week ago, and you can already see the roots started on that plant. This one here, Hoya clemensiorum, you can see it's got some roots started on the bottom of that, and that is ready to probably go into a pot. And over here are a couple of examples of plants that I have already got decent roots on in water, and I've repotted them. And these are some kind of tough Hoyas. This one here, clemensiorum, these all rooted up very nicely, and I put them in a pot, and I'm hoping that will take off. I keep trying different methods with this plant because it's a tough one for me to grow well. I probably started this over 3-4 times since I first got it. Very susceptible to root rot, so I keep trying different experiments, and one of these days I might get it right. Hoya platycaulus, this is a miserable plant for me to grow. Anyways, it's nearly impossible to root the normal way, but I rooted that in water, and this is all essentially new growth. It's not the greatest, a little bit of yellow, but I'm trying it in sphagnum moss as an experiment. But I know that if this goes too far south, I can snip it, put it in water, and reroot it. And this is nearly impossible, a very tough Hoya to root, but in water, it's not that big of a deal. Over here, Hoya inflata. This is a Hoya that I could grow extremely well at one time and haven't been able to grow it for years. And I keep restarting it. But anyway, I restarted this, rooted it in water, and knock on wood, the plant looks pretty good right now. We got a brand new leaf here. We have growth here. We have growth growing out the back. More growth down in there. So this is a new experiment I'm trying with this product called Lacuza Pond in semi-hydro, and we'll just see. I don't want to jinx it by expressing any confidence. It's just an experiment. But anyway, that was another plant that rooted in water. So water rooting Hoyas, it really seems to be the way to go. When you want to save a plant that's otherwise not doing well. And once again, I am using RO water, which I buy distilled water if you don't have access to RO water, and then I use a couple of drops of KLN, and it's in a warm, humid place. But I haven't had one plant that I've tried water rooting on that have not been successful. There's others that aren't here. Hoya thailandica, it rooted extremely quickly. Hoya imperialis rooted very, very fast. It's just every single Hoya that I have tried rooting in water, I have yet to have a failure. So that's just putting that out there, and I can highly recommend it for everyone. Well, that's it, and thanks for visiting with myself and listening to me blather on about water rooting, but I'm still very excited about it. We'll see you really soon with more great Hoyas and Hoya growing tips.